What's crack-a-lackin'? Hey, it's Vinyl Richie here. It's been a while. I promised to do my 10 Best 1974, which that is a reminder of. I haven't made that video because there's one record. I played the record and I go, oh, yeah, this is going to be included. And I put it somewhere, where I could, where I could find it. And now I can't find it, so this weekend I'm going to go through every goddamn record, and I'll probably do the video next week. So I thought I would do a vinyl finds instead. I'm going to start off with this book, Terravit Cadet, I guess. It's a Finnish hardcore band that I would have not known about if it wasn't for Tommy's Vinylnaut channel. It's a photographer and his photos, but it does have some write-ups and a little bit of history of the band, which I was totally unfamiliar with. I do have a few Finnish hardcore, and I think one Swedish hardcore albums that I have not shown, and maybe I'll bunch those together in my next vinyl finds. But let's start with the records. I'm going to start with the new ones, and then we'll go into the used. This first new one is by ISS. I call them ISIS. I don't know what the hell you pronounce it. It's a band from North Carolina. I'm aware of this band. I have their album on Sorry State Records. I have a 7-inch by them on Sorry State Records. And this is, I guess, their first album, and I did not even know this existed. It was originally a cassette-only release. Jason, Vinyl Skilz, showed this, and I go, what the heck? So I tried finding it on Discogs. There was one, but it was from Europe. And I just so happened to, I don't know if it was Puke and Vomit, but there was a bistro or a distro, whatever you call them, bistro, in the U.S. that had this, and yeah, I picked it up. It's very similar to their first. They kind of remind me of the very first Big Black, when it was just Steve Albini by himself. It wasn't quite so crunchy guitars. But yeah, this is really good, man. I dig this band. I highly recommend people checking them out. You can listen to them on Bandcamp. You can listen to them on YouTube. But yeah, really cool. And I was jazzed to find this, because it's one that I wasn't even aware of. So thank you, Jason. I do watch some of your videos. Now this next band is one that I kind of dove into. Last year I dove into the Coat Hangers. I ended up buying all their albums, with the exception of a 12-inch that they released that I didn't think was really all that. But I bought a Death Valley Girls album, and I probably showed it in my first vinyl finds of this year. And I went ahead and bought their other 3 albums. And this is their first album, Street Venom. Came out in 2014, originally only a cassette release. And this is a different cover. The original cover was kind of like a Patty Hearst figure on the cover, This one's got some like Manson girl type thing going on. The one thing, I think it's the singer, man. She's got some haunting eyes. Her gaze is something else. But yeah, on with the record. It was recorded in 2 days. Bonnie Blumengarden is the singer. She plays guitar and she plays keyboards. The drummer from Hole is on this. And they refer to her as Patty. Yeah, it's Patty Schmiel. And her brother, Patty Schmiel, is also, he plays guitars also. And I think there's another gal, Rachel, on bass. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's very raw, wall of fuzzed out, drenched garage guitars with haunting vocals. That's how I would explain it. And man, her vocals are really unique. I mean, I really dig them, man. And yeah, they really stand out on this debut. I highly recommend their debut. And this is the insert. It's got the credits right there, and then it's got a photo collage right here with some pretty trippy stuff on it. And the record, it's on Suicide Squeeze, which is also the label that the coat hangers are on. So, there's another band that's on that label, LA Witch. And I haven't really dove into them, but I have been told that they are very good also. So that might be my next deep dive, you know. Now, I had their second album. That was the first one I bought. So I did pick up this one. This is their third album, Darkness Reigns. It's a tighter sound. It's not as fuzzed out. It even has some arena riffs in it, you know. Really good, though. It's, I would say side 1 rocks out more than side 2. In fact, side 2, the first song's kind of a slow song. And the first song on side 2. And then the last song on side 2 is kind of a slow song. And it's even like a psychedelic. I didn't mention it. They do have some psychedelic tinges, too. And yeah, I would say 10 is definitely more of a psychedelic song. And it starts and it kind of, you think it's going to build up, but it really never does. I don't like this one as much as the debut. It's kind of similar to the second one, the first one I bought. And again, it comes with a nice insert with the credits and another photo collage. Are you troubled? Do you think you are possessed? Then you need Death Valley Girls. Yeah, man. There's some haunting photos on this. There's some. This right here reminds me of my old girlfriend right there. And then, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then, check this one out. Covered in blood. Yeah, that's a hot look right there. It's a pretty cool photo collage. And again, of course, it's on colored vinyl. Really cool labels. And they clearly state side 1 and side 2, which is nice. And I have one more, and a really nice sleeves. They come with these. And I have their 4th album, and I believe it's their latest. Came out in 2020. This one, I would say it's a leap forward for the band. It has more, that third one has some sax in it. This one has more sax. It even has child choruses in it. Now, I say the sax, but it's not like a traditional sax solos or anything. It's more part of the wall of sound or noise of this band. And even her vocals are kind of mixed down in the mix. And it's just like a noise, a sound, like taken as a whole. I don't know. This is the shittiest description I've ever. Some of the songs, and even on that third one, there's one song in particular, it sounds like a garage band Shangri-La's. But yeah, I really dig this album. In fact, if I would start with this one, their first really fuzzed out garage sounding one, and then I would get their latest one, Death Valley Girls, Under the Spell of Joy. And if you dig those two, I would recommend the second album and then the third in that order. But yeah, this is a big leap sound-wise from this, which is a good thing, you know. And I didn't describe it very well, but... And this one, it's got the names of the songs on this side, and another photo collage of these pretty trippy women, you know, Manson girls, possessed women, and I don't know, pretty wild looking babes. Yeah, I said it, babes. And pretty cool labels. And this side has all the information. And this is my only vertical swirl that I own. But yeah, Death Valley Girls, man. I dove in deep. I got all 4 of their records. Now this next guy, his first album, he was a drummer in Foxygen. And I guess they were on a break, and he made his first album. And I believe he recorded it in his bedroom using an iPhone or an iPad, and that was it. And it's really soulful, got a 60s vibe. His second album has more of a 70s vibe to it. His third album, which I don't own, I didn't really care for it upon listen. It had more of an 80s, kind of that synth sound. And this is his 4th album I picked up. And it's With People, and it's Diane Coffey. I don't know if you can read that. It's Diane Coffey, With People. And this is a really... I don't like it as much as the first, I'll say, you know. But, yeah, I do like it. The songs are really well written. In fact, we were out in the backyard, and my wife actually thought that Diane Coffey was a female singer. He has a kind of a high voice. I mean, it's a unique voice. This is a pop album. You know, it's not like a hard driving rock album at all. It's well-written songs, though. If Prince came out with this would be a top seller. You know, if these songs were Prince songs, people would be going crazy over them. But since it's not, it's Diane Coffey. Nobody's heard of this guy. If Paul McCartney came out with this album, people would fucking be having explosive diarrhea in their pants, you know? It's not for everybody. It's not for a lot of people in my audience, you know, the hardcore crowd. Let me get this shit out of my way. But yeah, I dig it. I mean, I listen to some pop. It came with this postcard. Stickers, but stickers are stupid. And a really cool poster, actually. Pretty creepy thing. That's funny, but that would have been a better album cover, I think. And it's got all the lyrics. Very cool, man. I mean, who would have known the drummer for Foxygen would, you know, be this productive and creative, you know? It's almost like Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. And another color vinyl. It's Vinyl Rich, the color vinyl channel, you know. I'm trying to be like Vinyl Eyes, you know. I want to be hip. But yeah, this one is pretty fucking spectacular looking. Man, you put this on the turntable and you get hypnotized. Really cool sleeve too. Now we're going to get into those are all the new albums. Now we're going to get into my used ones. First one I'm going to show, it's a UK 82 English punk band. The Oi Oi Oi. I have this song. It's UKDK. I have For My Country. I have it on one of those punk comps. That was a sticker from Going Underground Records. And yeah, let's see. Man, come on. That's what the record looks like. And it's just one of these wraparound sleeves. And the other song is Unwind. I had never heard that song. And you have all the credits. 1980, I believe this came out. Yeah, 1980. Very cool. Now, I bought that at Going Underground Records. As I said, there was a sticker that fell. I'll pick that up later. All these used records, I think all of them are from 2 trips to Going Underground Records, and I bought one in the mail. And this single came from the first trip, as did this album, Gang of Four, Solid Gold. This is their second album, came out in 81 probably. I saw them, it might have been in 82 when I saw them. I don't think it was 83. And they were one of those bands that were just fantastic watching them. The guitar player, man, the bass was really funky and driving, but the guitar player was so original. I mean, he was like playing his guitar, and then there's times when he's going like this and he's not hitting the strings, and then he hits them, and it was a fantastic show. And let me pull out. It's in the original Warner Brothers sleeve, and it looks unplayed. And yeah, it's a really good album, solid album. I don't have their first. In fact, I didn't have any Gang of Four. And yeah, I'm happy to have their second album. And I've got one more from Gang of Four, but it's out of order here. And this is a EP that came out in 82. I think it's 82. Yeah, probably right before that Man in a Uniform phase. It's got 3 songs on side 1, which are kind of that funky groove sound. Except for the first song, To Hell with Poverty, and Capital, It Fails Us Now. Those had those driving funky bass. History's Bunk was more of a post-punk sound. But man, side 2, it's got Cheeseburger and What We All Want from that album I just showed, Solid Gold. And boy, What We All Want, man, that song. Cheeseburger's cool too, but man, What We All Want. I think this live version's better than the one on the studio album. And yeah, this is really cool. And I remember these records, but I just never bought any, you know. Like I've said before, you can't buy everything. And yeah, the Warner label. And I do have a couple of 7-inches of them. Probably the 83, 84, you know, Man in a Uniform, and then one other 7-inch that came out, I think, after that, you know. They had either 1 or 2 females in the band. Now this next one is another 12-inch, and it's Spaceman 3. This came out in 89, I think. I don't think these songs, yeah, 89. I don't think these songs are on the album that came out that year. And I have their first album. It's like a second pressing of it. But the dead wax is the exact same as the dead wax on the first pressing. So it's definitely from the same plates as the first pressing. But yeah, this song here, Just to See You Smile, it says Honey Part 2. I know Honey was a song, and it may be the first song on their album that came out in 89. This one, it doesn't sound like their first album that I have. And it doesn't, their second album too, I've heard that, and I really like this. This is more of a slower, spaced out. It doesn't have those crazy ass guitars in it. You know that, what do they call it? Shoegaze sound, wall of guitars. It's more of a space, dreamy, you know, floaty feel to all these songs. And they, in my opinion, they never, I don't know. It would have been nice if one of them would have built up to some crescendo. And it's on marvelous black vinyl. Or as Martin Jones would say, oh, it's just black vinyl. Hey, Martin, how you doing? And the last one I bought from my first trip to Going Underground Records this is the first album, by the Modern Lovers. And I never owned this album. I had never even heard this album. I was familiar with the first song, Roadrunner, because the Sex Pistols do a version of it on, what is it? The Great Rock and Roll Swindle. Not a very good version of it. This version's better. But yeah, this is pretty cool, man. I did know the song Pablo Picasso. But yeah, there's one song in here where he's talking about Hippie Steve, I think. He's talking about he's always stoned all the time. Yeah, that was me, man, back in the early 70s. Well, even into the 80s, you know. But yeah, cool to have this. Now I just need to get For Lovers Only, you know, and then I'm done with them. This is the original Berkeley sleeve, I'm assuming. And there's the Berkeley label. And it's on fabulous black vinyl. I love black vinyl, man. You can see especially if it's a used record, you can see if it's got scratches, if they're just superficial, or, you know, they're deep scratches. And yeah. Now, this is my second trip to Roadrunner, Going Underground Records. And this was maybe 2 weeks ago. And I talked to Ryan Kidd and I told him, hey, they got some. Well, actually what I did is they had a bunch of Johnny Thunders records. So I went and I knew Ryan Kidd had done a Johnny Thunders video. And I went, searched, and surprisingly I hadn't watched it. So I watched it and I go, okay, he talks good about all the records. I recognize about 4 of them. I went back and I picked up 2. The other 2 that I was going to pick up were no longer there. But they had this 10-inch. They had 2 10-inches there. Both Record Store Day releases, I believe. Oh, there's a Johnny Thunders whatever. And so I picked up this one. It's the 1978 recordings, and it's really good, dude. And it's got, man, who is it? Oh, Phil Lynott from the Thin Lizzy. And then you got some dude from the Only Ones. And I thought there was another guy in here from some other band. Yeah. You know, Phil Lynott's on all of the songs playing bass. Very cool. Yeah, this is actually really good, man. It's a 4-song EP. And it's really good, man, for a fucking junkie, you know? Yike. And it's on yellow vinyl, man. That reminds me of kid days, you know, when you buy those children's records and they would be yellow. And it came with this. Really good write-up about how these sessions happened in England. And the other one I got was a live one. And it's Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers live at the Lyceum Ballroom, 1984. And it's really nice. It's kind of got a matte finish, but this part in the middle here is really glossy. Same here. I went to the Lyceum, I think 4 times when I was in England in 71. But yeah, this is pretty well recorded. And it's cool because I don't have any Johnny Thunders, you know. And again on black vinyl. So that was cool. I was kind of bummed that they didn't have the other 2, but you know what? Save some money. And I did buy one other thing, and this was really quite inexpensive. It's Ring, the Gary Burton Quintet with Eberhard Weber on ECM Records, is it? Yeah. I don't have a lot on ECM, but most of what I have, I like. I have one Gary Burton and Chick Corea album that they did together. I don't care for that one. But yeah, this is a good album. I had this back in the 70s when it came out. And I wanted to re-get it. And it's on black vinyl with that nice ECM label. Pretty plain label. And this last one is one that I purchased in the mail from Discogs, I believe. And what was interesting about this one, the stiffeners were this Art Garfunkel album in excellent shape. And I love this album. This is my second favorite Art Garfunkel album. And the other side of the other stiffener on the other side was Bud Shank Plays Music from Today's Movies. I have not heard this one. Don't have any idea what it's like. But the record I bought was The Troll, animated music, 60s psych. Definitely, yes, psych. Some garage. I mean, it starts out really promising with the first song, and they don't have the songs listed in order here, and I don't remember very well. It's on Smash Records. And yeah, it starts out side one with Satin City News. Pretty garagey sounding song. So it starts out pretty promising. And then it goes into Mr. Abernathy and Fritz and Sweeney. And it goes into more of a UK psych kind of a sound. But they don't quite do it as good as the Brits. Side 2 has a couple of garage numbers, but it ends with Werewolf and Witch Breath. Another good, maybe the best song on the album. Another good 5-minute garage psych cruncher. It's a good album. It's not like a psych classic, but man, I'm glad I have it. Got it for like $20-something. There's a little bit of ring wear, but not bad at all, man. And yeah, really cool album cover. That's what it kind of like, what it sounds like, But I dig there's really not bad songs on it, but I kind of dig the garage stuff more. And I got one more thing I'm going to show. And it's some VCLT from Steve Carlson of the vinyl community, starring Cat. He got me, I guess he saw that I, bought a few, I think 3 titles from Analog Africa. And I did get another one in, but I'll show that another day. And he sent this Zamrock, which I don't have any Zamrock. The ones I got are more from the Western Africa. And this is the Nguzi family. I think I've heard some of this. Day of the Judgment. I haven't even opened this. He sent a nice letter. And I'm going to open it right now on camera. And I'm surprised Coco didn't go off today. For those that watch my videos, Coco, my dog, he's a maniac. He's been seeing a dog psychiatrist. And it seems to, done some good. And it's on black vinyl with these pretty cool labels. And I'll give this a listen and I'll talk about it on my next vinyl finds, Yeah, I've been kind of busy around the house. I was working on the room that eventually, I film these in our bedroom. And I plan on moving all my records into the spare room. And, making a record room or whatever, music room. And I've been kind of doing that, but I kind of haven't done shit for the last 2 or 3 weeks on that. And we were working on the patio outside. We redid the patio. And man, the price of lumber is ridiculous. That terrible, I don't talk politics, but that terrible attack on the Capitol building, what was it, January 6th, I think it was kind of, it's just surprising how lack of security there was. And, guys like Mazzy act like it's the end of the world. And, I mean, as bad as it was, I don't think it's the end of the world. And, a lot of, you hear the liberals, they'll say, and I'm a Democrat, you'll hear them say, don't you remember January 6th? And my answer is, yes, I do. That's when gas was $2.20 a gallon, not $6. Man, Joe Biden is the worst president in my lifetime. Oh, fuck.